Hi, besties. How are you tonight? Um, I'm very excited to be, recapping Salt Lake City on a Friday night because tonight, as we speak, the reunion is being filmed. But we will talk about that later because there is so much to talk about regarding the reunion. So much tea I have for you guys, and we gotta start from the episode because the episode leads to many questions at the end. We know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have watched the episode, you know that at the end there is a cliffhanger, and we are going to put these pieces together like it's clues. And I have some takes on it. So I want you to listen, and after that, leave me your comments on YouTube or on Twitter. You know where to find me as Martini with Eddie on all social medias. But the episode start with Lisa, Whitney, and Angie K hanging out by the pool after that huge, fight at the Polynesian party hosted by Jen the night before. We spoke about it. People were, going at each other. They were Dana exposed Heather, rightfully so, because she was talking shit about Jen with her, and now she's denying it. And Jen also asked her to stop being friends with Angie H. She wants to be her friend, but obviously, um, Heather is like, hell no, I'm not picking my friends based on this. This is not the type of friendship that I want to be in. And it seemed like their like alliance it started to crack. That didn't last too long because they were gonna have a great time at a Marilyn Monroe party on the new episode. We'll get to that part. But in the morning, the ladies decide to, go to different places. One group goes to the beach to surf and have, no, no, wait. I'm going ahead. This is what happened when you're recapping live. They all go to the beach and they play these games by the beach, and Dana said in a confessional like, Jen is cheating. What else is she cheating on? Or what if it's like, wrong with her? And now we know that she even cheats on the brands that she wear because, once again, we will talk about that later. It seems like a lot of her bags and jewelry are fake. So, I mean, scamming seems like on brand. And it was a good time. The ladies are enjoying the time at the beach with this guy that it seems like he wanted to be a host of a TV show, like a game show. He was way too excited for my liking. I was like, dude, you need to take that excitement like two notch down because honestly, you are too much. I need you to like relax. Meredith decides to stay with Angie K, Dana, and Whitney after the games, right? And Lisa and Heather go with Jen to have a bite to eat. Funny part is like I identify so much with Meredith in this part. I mean, I love the beach, but bitch, I cannot surf and I'm not breaking my face, especially after my nose surgery. Nope. My doctor said no activities that can put this nose in danger. So I totally get where Meredith was going when she decided to sit by the beach, not surfing. Also, she's playing with her phone. That's the best surfing that you can do. Honestly, just Googling. I enjoy being on my phone, so I can totally identify with Meredith just surfing the web. During this launch that Jen, Heather, and Lisa have, Heather, for the very first time, is holding Jen accountable for her toxic behavior and how she can be, extremely, you know, kind of like terrifying when she gets angry. Things were going well as Lisa and Heather pointing out what Jen has been doing for many, many seasons. This is not the very first time that Jen is acting out because what she's going with her legal problems. She's been having many outbursts of rage for several seasons, even before the legal battles. But things take a turn, and I'm not gonna make a light out of this topic or a joke because this is very serious. She revealed that she had suicidal thoughts and even maybe tried to commit suicide, which is a heavy topic. I hope her family is supporting her mentally, and because it's hard. It must be really hard to go through what she's going. Once again, that doesn't excuse her actions, and when you take when you commit this type of like crimes and you are, they catch you, then the consequences are gonna come back to bite your ass. But regarding of the crimes, having suicidal thoughts, dealing with suicide, it's a very, very heavy and serious matter. And if you're listening my podcast right now and you are going through anything, and you have these thoughts, or your mind goes to that place, please know that people out there love you. Reach out to your friends. There's therapy for it too. There's many, many sources. Be kind. People are asking you, please be kind, because we don't know who's going through this type of fights inside. We see so many people that are extremely happy on the outside, and then they commit suicide, and we wonder why. We saw this week with Twitch, DJ Twitch from the Ellen DeGeneres show. It was a shocker. Such a light and such an amazing soul, but we can't explain what people go through inside, and sometimes we put a show around us to cover those feelings. So if you're listening, just know that I had gone through that too. I went to therapy and opened up to a therapist over suicidal thoughts, and we worked through them, and we found ways for me to like overcome those fears and be mentally stronger, and finding support in my family and my friends. So what I'm trying to say to you is that if you go through this by yourself, please ask for help. Suicidal thoughts, are really heavy topic, like I mentioned before. And I want you to know you're not alone. I I don't want to share my whole entire story because this is not what I'm trying to do. I don't want to make this issue about me. But what I'm trying to say is like we all have different demons that we're fighting. We all go through different personal battles. We all go through different, mental health issues. So be open and ask for help, and call your friend, call your family. They're going to be there for you. Okay. So that's on that topic. Jen revealed that she was going through that. She had those suicidal thoughts and even attempt to commit it. Heavy, 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 heavy stuff. It is kind of hard to go back to the fun part of the show right now because I want to make sure that you guys know that it's important to speak on mental health. It's important to be open about struggling with mental health. I'm very open about my anxiety. I have anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I get depressed. I don't take any type of medication. I'm not against them, but I found my ways to, you know, get my body going, to center my mind, to breathe. I found my rock and my support system. So I want you, who, people who are listening right now or are watching this video on YouTube or Twitter right now, find your rock, find your centering system. Well, and then they go back to the house and they plan this whole Marilyn Monroe outing, which, by the way, I was excited. I was like, okay, Marilyn Monroe is one of my icons. I absolutely adore Marilyn Monroe. So I was excited to see the fashion. I was excited to see, some opulence and something to give me life. But instead, we got Party City wigs and dollar store jewelry. And this is not it, girls. Please, please ask your gay friends. They will not let you go out looking like a mess. And that was some messy ass looks. When I say the wigs were not wigging, when I said the wigs were literally snatched all the way to the back, even before starting the fights, it's not a look, it's not a moment, it was not giving Marilyn Monroe, it was just given the day after tomorrow. And I'm talking about the movie. A disaster, a natural disaster was happening on my TV screen. And I was floored, embarrassed, and honestly, how the hell you are going to plan a Marilyn Monroe themed dinner and disrespect Marilyn look that way? Like, no, ma'am. I object. It was terrible. During this dinner, Whitney is trying to open up to Heather regarding their issues of their friendship. And it seems like Heather was not aware of how Whitney was feeling about their friendship. And I was not expecting bad weather to end wearing horrible Party City wigs. Like, that was not the way. I'm like, girls, if you're gonna look for a moment to break your friendship, at least be dressed to the part. They did look like a tornado hit them with the wigs all the way to the back, the horrible makeup, the low budget looks. Sad. While Whitney is trying to explain to Heather how she felt, Heather was literally talking over her every single time. And that was exactly Whitney's point. Whitney was saying that Heather has a bad habit of not listening. They always try to tell her how to act, who to like, who not to like. And the fact that Heather, was being part of the issue of Whitney not liking Lisa. And somehow they were trying to drag Lisa into it. And Lisa's like, why am I here? What are you guys trying to do? This is not my issue. This is your guys' issues, not mine. It's interesting enough that the conversation started as Whitney asking Jen about the lunch they had early on. And once again, Jen brings up what she talked to Heather and Lisa about. But she felt in some kind of way about Whitney asking. She wasn't there. So I do not understand why Jen felt so upset about it, because last time that I checked, she spoke to Lisa and Heather. Whitney had no idea what was spoken about. And yeah, we can assume that maybe somebody told her, but we also can't assume that that happened. Because, I mean, why would anyone mention this to her? And why would she bring this up knowing the hot topic and the conversation, I feel like Whitney was honestly unaware of it. And it was those type of situation of like, shit, I just did not know. And she triggered the conversation. But that shifted to Heather because, Jen pointed that out. She said like, okay, Whitney, say how you feel about Heather. You know, you were saying something about your friendship. It's your time. Find your voice, little girl. Find your voice. And when she's trying to find her voice and speak up, Heather, with her typical gaslighting behavior, is always talking over her. And it's quite exhausting because I would not like to have a friend. I don't want a friend who doesn't allow me to speak my mind, who doesn't allow me to point out where our friendship is failing so we can do better. And Heather has made Whitney feel like her journey it's fake or it's not real or it's for the show. That's how Whitney felt about her telling Heather about her spiritual journey and finding like, these new ways of living and her struggle with her childhood abuse and all this stuff. Heather made her feel like that was a lie, that was her just being too much, or maybe was putting in for a show. And when Whitney's telling that to Heather, she decides to talk over her and not letting her speak, and then saying, "Okay, talk. Tell me how you feel." She's trying, like, shut the f up. Like, honestly, like I don't know how Whitney did not just jump across the table and grab her by that dollar store wig, because I would not have the patience for it. She walked away from the table because she felt like that was going nowhere, and that was the end of bad weather. That in that scene we saw the real ending of that friendship. I mean, for now or for the show or whatever you want to call it, but in that moment we saw the end of bad weather. Whitney literally walked away feeling like Heather was not her real friend. And no matter what she was trying to tell her, Heather was going to talk over her and gaslighting her into believing that she's crazy. So why even try? Why even have a friend like that? So good for Whitney. I just don't like gaslighting people. I hate gaslighters. I think having a friend that make you believe that you are crazy, or having a friend that doesn't take your personal journey seriously and doesn't take seriously the fact that even she tried to share about her husband losing her job, and then she acted like that was nothing and still hasn't even approached her to talk about it. And we are on episode 11. They're filming the reunion today. So I'm very curious about that. Extremely curious about the whole bad weather friendship. Because they've been together since day one and they've always been on the same side. This is the first time that they're going into a reunion not being friends. So I want to see how that affect their dynamic. That's going to be really interesting. I love when dynamics shift on a housewife franchise. Is it for the show? Are they really friends behind the scenes and they are putting this for a show? Who knows? Could be, but it's television. So at least I have something to look forward to on a show instead of seeing the same thing over and over again, unless the friendship feels real. I always had a feeling that Heather and Whitney were not true friends. I'm not saying that their friendship was, made up for the show. I'm saying that the friendship came with like somebody taking advantage of the other person. And I'm talking about Heather seeing Whitney like she's like down her, like Well, we're having issues, so I'll apologize for that. Yes, what I was saying before was that it is really exhausting to have a friend like Whitney. It's truly tiresome to always try to, you know, explain yourself all the time and somebody making you feel like you're crazy. That is completely unacceptable. And I understand why Whitney just walked away from that table. But when they go back to the house, now they're all drunk, they're having a good time. They went to the club, they're drunk out of their mind, and it's fun to see the girls having a good time. I'm here for ladies having fun and titties out. I'm not very gay man, but I'm all for the titties. Titties, fun, party, amazing. I let the girls out, like let the ladies boobs boobs like come out and have a good time. That was the most fun that I've seen the girls have on this season. Let's be honest, that was the only time that I seen all the girls having a good time together this season. Jen Shah and Heather were titties out, dancing, and the other ones were drinking, and Angie K taking photos for her story while they're like laying on the by the pool with the titties out. I'm all for it. I love when the ladies have a good time because we are so used to watching these ladies going head to head, and it's tiring. I want them to have more fun, but in a very, 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 very scary movie type of editing, we're starting to see the timestamp, and I start to get anxious. I'm so anxious at that point because I want to know exactly what is coming, and I know what is coming, but I'm like holding on for my own life. Like, oh my gosh, it's coming. I'm gonna know what's gonna happen right now. Hi, Candy. How are you? Yes, Candy Washington is here, and I am so excited because I'm gonna have a special coming up on December 30th. I will have all the details, and Candy's involved. You guys are gonna die when I tell you what I'm getting. I'm telling you, it's gonna be an amazing, amazing end of the year event. So yes, I was so in shock watching that timestamp going. Okay, 3 in the morning, 3:30, 4 in the morning. So you see the different ladies in the room going to the rooms, dancing or whatever, and then we see Heather by herself in her room. And somebody at around 4:05, I'm trying to remember the timestamp, but it was around the 4 in the morning. Somebody knocked at her door, trying to open the door, and the editors just make it like really like kind of like white noise on TV. And then the next thing you know, it's like 7 hours later in the morning, and Miss Heather sent a message to Meredith saying like, "Hey, come to my room. I need to talk to you. It's serious." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, here we go, here we go. We're gonna know what's happening." They Heather gets to her room, and Jen Shah is waiting for her. She opened the door, and Heather is sitting with these big glasses, and I'm here like, "Oh my gosh, it's the moment we're gonna know what happened." She reveals the black eye that we've been waiting for a very long time. That was literally the center of the trailer. When we first saw the trailer for Salt Lake City, that was what we were like, "Oh my gosh, a black eye, what's happening?" And I'm here waiting for it to happen, and in very, very typical Bravo style, we get a to be continued screen. And I'm here thinking to myself, are you freaking kidding me? I'm gonna have to wait another week to know what happened. And this is the part that I've been waiting to do with you guys. I want to know, before this show is released next week, I want you to go on my Twitter or on my YouTube channel and leave a comment and let me know what is your take on who gave Heather the black eye. Was it Whitney? Was it Jen Shah? Was it Lisa Barlow? Did she do that to herself, by accident? I'm starting to believe. At first, I thought it was Jen Shah. And I'm not saying that it was Jen Shah out of anger. I'm saying that Jen Shah did it out of like an accident. Maybe she opened the door and she closed it and she closed it too hard and it hit Whitney and that's what happened. But now we saw scratches on her arm, and I don't think Jen Shah wants more issues added to her legal situations. I don't think having domestic violence with a friend or whatever, attacking a friend or like whatever it calls when you attack somebody, um, on her records. I highly doubt that. So I'm hoping that it was an accident, because I would hate to think that Whitney and Heather got into a fight and it became physical. I do not like physical altercation. I'm not a fan of violence. Ooh, this take is hot and I'm here for it. Candy. Candy just left a message on the live comment section of the stream. She think that it might be Jen and Heather is going to cover up for her. That is a good take. I did not think about that one, but that makes sense, because this will be like the perfect opportunity for Heather to prove that she's a ride or die for Jen. And we're still wondering. I'm still wondering what Jen has on Heather for her to be always excusing Jen no matter what she does. Jen can literally steal a candy from children in front of Heather, and she will say that Jen needed it because her sugar was really low and she had low blood sugar. She will find an excuse. She will find any excuse to cover for Jen's actions. So I kind of like that take. I'm gonna give it to Candy. I did not think about that one, but it truly makes sense, because I'm still confused as for why Heather is so loyal to Jen. Does not make any sense, and every single person on that show had said it. Even Meredith said it on Watch What Happened Live when she was on it right after the show. She was asked about why Heather is so, ride or die for Jen after like so many years of Jen treating Heather horribly. She called her many things. She called her Shrek. She called her racist, all type of names. And Heather is always there for Jen. Very bizarre. And it's true, Jen was really drunk, maybe blacked out. She maybe doesn't remember. So we're going to have to watch and see. I'm trying to remember, because on the show, we don't get to see the person when Heather opens the door. But on the trailer, if you pause the trailer, in that moment, you kind of see the person. I believe that the person who was waiting at that door still had the Marilyn Monroe wig, that freaking dollar store Marilyn Monroe wig. Please, please, people, if you are going on a show and you're gonna have a Marilyn Monroe inspired dinner, at least have the decency to get good wigs. Do not make my girl Marilyn Monroe this dirty ever again. Please. On the trailer, if you pause in the moment that Heather opens the door, I'm 99.9% sure that you are able to see the person, and that person still has the wig on. And the only person at this point of the night that has that wig on is Jen Shah. So adding to that take coming from Candy that might be Jen, I mean, if the person who gave Heather the black eye was the one waiting for her outside, it kind of makes sense that it's Jen Shah. Also, let's not forget that Heather told Jen Shah right before she went to bed to come and find her or come and cuddle or whatever. She told her to come to her room. I'm just playing clues here, trying to put one and one together. I really, really want to know what happened. And if it's just Heather being drunk, falling on her face, and something falling on her arm, that type of situation, I'm I'm literally turning off the TV immediately because just like Beverly Hills, Bravo has this really bad habit of hyping up a season based on a particular situation, like for example, Aspen. And we got nothing out of Aspen. It was a hot mess. There was nothing behind it. There was literally no receipts. Just what we saw on the trailer. Even less. Because at least on the trailer, we see Kathy leaving Kyle's home or something. We didn't even get to see that part. So if Bravo once again trick us into believing that something is out there that is nothing, I'm going to turn the TV off just to do myself a favor for my own mental health. Because honestly, this season of Salt Lake City has been so disappointing that the only people actually working for their paycheck are the friend of. NGK and Dana have done more in one episode than the entire cast this whole entire season. We have spoken more about NGK and Dana in the past 2 weeks than we have spoken about the actual show in this like month and 2 months the show has been running, two months and a half. So if Bravo doesn't give them the snowflakes, I'm going to be very disappointed next season because Jen Shah is, probably, most likely, going to be away. So it's one less snowflake. So we need more. We need more people. And I believe that Bravo found the perfect people to take those positions. I like NGK. I'm still want to get to know Dana more, but what she's given is given. NGH can stay by herself with her husband somewhere else. I don't like her. I think it's sad what she did. I think it's embarrassing what they did. And she had tried so many times to get on the show. Girl, pack it up. Do not even try it. I wonder if she is going to be at the reunion. I haven't checked her social media. So I'm not going to speculate her present or not. So if you guys know, if you guys have checked her social media, I don't check her social media. I honestly don't care enough for her to even follow her. I don't think I even follow her on social media. So, but NGK and Dana are given. They definitely deserve snowflakes, and I know for a fact that they are here in New York City filming the reunion. So most likely they are going to get promoted because Bravo needs people to save Salt Lake City. I kind of want Mary back, but we know that no shows at the reunions are pretty much the death sentence to their contract. Oh, Candy sent me another message and I'm here for it. We need to do a live on this. I don't like NGK or Dana. I have a conspiracy theory on them and I'm here for conspiracy theories because I love all this stuff. This is why we watch Bravo and this is why I made this podcast. I want everybody's opinions. I want everybody's opinions, not just mine. You guys, I want you guys to come on here. For 2023, I'm going to be inviting more viewers. of the show. I want to hear the viewers. I'm gonna keep bringing on my really really good friends, my Bravo content creators, which I love. I love all of them, even the ones that don't agree with me. There's one in particular. It was here on my show. If you go back to a couple of episodes when I had Zag, he's my frenemy. I really like him as a person. We just don't agree on anything pretty much. Besides the Jen Shah, I think that's the only thing that we agree. Both of us are on the same page. But everything else, especially Beverly Hills, we had gone head to head on social media, and people were like shocked that I invited him on the show. They were like, why are you inviting somebody who seems to not like you? I'm like, because I like to talk to people. You know, this is why I created this podcast. I want to hear everybody's opinions. And Candy, I love Candy. Candy and I have a lot of opinions and takes that we agree on, pretty much on everything. But she said that she doesn't like NGK or Dana, and I want to hear her opinion. So we are going to have Candy here. We have an upcoming event on December 30th, and she's going to be here. I think we're going to have to talk about that part on that event. It's going to be good. I'm telling you, if you're listening right now, mark your calendars. December 30th, 6 p.m. I have an amazing event. I will send out more details on my Twitter account, Martini with Eddie, as the day get closer. But you do not want to miss this. It's going to be a huge way to end 2022. Reunion. Let's move to the reunion now. They're filming the reunion right now here in New York City. Lisa and NGK flew in together. Meredith was already in New York City. Whitney was posting last night from like dinners and stuff here in New York City. One thing that I'm very shocked is to know that Bravo re-invited Jen Shah, but because she didn't want to talk about her legal situation, she decided not to show up to the reunion. And I'm like, girl, are we really talking about this because you don't want to talk about your legal battles? Which, by the way, we spoke about it last season, but this time the only difference is that you cannot pretend anymore that you're innocent. You already pled guilty. So you can't play the innocent card anymore. Or you are so embarrassed that the world knows that a lot of your possessions were fake. Yes, last night, a huge bomb dropped. And when I say a bomb, it's like a nuclear bomb. When the Fed raided her house and took her bags and jewelry, because they need to come up with a pricing to resell or anything like that to be able to return the money to those who were run by Jen Shah's pyramid scheme situation, right? Which, by the way, why didn't they do that to Erica Jane? She still has a lot of stuff, but we will leave that for a different episode. Anyways, when the feds took all her possessions, they need to make an assessment of the pricing and make sure that they know exactly how much are they value for. And now we know, because it became public knowledge, a big chunk of her, handbags, designing clothing or whatever, jewelry, are fake. One of the biggest don't on fashion is buying fake designers products. Do not do it. Do not go to Chinatown in New York City to buy your fake Louis Vuitton or your fake Chanel. Don't do it. And I'm going to tell you why. People who know about luxury has an eye to identify them. And you don't want to be put in a category of somebody who's so desperate to fit in that you will buy a fake handbag. Especially nowadays, we have so many beautiful non-high-end brands or beautiful small businesses that make leather goods and stuff like that. That they might not be the big name that some people want and all the aspirational brands that we want, but they're beautiful. And it's better to be real on a budget than being fake. Says a lot about a person, you know? And I'm being serious. I love I love luxury leathers. I invest on them. I really enjoy buying, handbags or like traveling bags from a brand. But I take my time to do that. I save for them, or if I see something that I like, I make sure that I get that. I can buy 20 or 100 of those products, but that one item that I get, I it's something that I work for it, right? So if you want to get something beautiful, it's better to get something that you can afford, or something that, like, it's gonna impress somebody. I'm more impressed. I've been to, like, fashion events in my life because I used to work for a fashion designer before. I worked actually for several of them while I was doing my internship in college and stuff like that. And I made my way into the fashion industry like that. I had seen the most beautiful items in my life coming from people who are not high-end designers. A lot of people who live in Brooklyn, Queens, making these beautiful items, beautiful handbags, beautiful products, one of a kind. They are probably like 60-70% cheaper than a Chanel bag. And honestly, way more fashionable. So this is my advice. Instead of going and save your money and buy a fake handbag that sometimes, believe it or not, it might sound like, oh, it might be cheap. They're not always that cheap. It's just cheaper than the brand. But that doesn't mean that it's not a couple of $100s. Just keep that in mind. So my opinion here, and this is just allegedly, because I don't want to get a cease and desist. I don't want Diana Jenkins to come after me, but I do believe, allegedly, that Jen Shah didn't go to the reunion because of that situation. It was very weird, the timing, because that came out last night. And now this morning she releases that, like, statement, which, by the way, who cares? Not me. I already knew that she was not going. I didn't know that she was re-invited to the reunion, to be honest. I wasn't expecting her to go, because when I went to BravoCon, Andy was very clear. He said the moment that Jen Shah pled guilty, Bravo cut all the ties with her. That's why she wasn't present at BravoCon. And pretty much all the other, like, ladies has been on Watch What Happened Live, joining Andy, even if it's like virtually or something. Jen Shah has not been invited. She wasn't invited to the after show. Keep all the stuff in mind. So I honestly believe that either she was not invited and she's using the victim card, or maybe Bravo decided to re-invite her just because she already pled guilty and her court date was moved to January, so give them more time to film. And she decided not to go because, well, we know now. Handbags are fake. Just like Lisa said a couple episodes, Jen Shah is known for having fake everything. And now we know it's true. The funniest part is, like, 2 days ago, she came back on Twitter. I'm doing air quotes, because she was still hanging out. She was still liking comments. She was still, like, chitty chatting with the girls. But allegedly, she came back on Twitter 2 days ago and she went after Lisa Barlow. And she said on she replied to somebody's comment or something because Lisa said like, oh, she's fake, like her boobs or whatever on the show, on the confessional, and then Jen Shah has the audacity to say, oh, that's what we're doing. So Lisa, you're fake, like your face, your nose, your lips, your that. I'm like, girl, even girl, your handbags are fake, your jewelry are fake. So please, please check yourself at the door. It's over. I think I want to move to Miami because that's another one that is hot topic right now. I'm gonna be quick with Miami because I know a lot of you guys haven't watched it yet. I don't want to spoil it too much, but I need to talk about Miami. I have to because it's one of my favorite franchises. I love every single one of them. Maybe not Larsa that much, but every single one of them have a special place in my heart because Miami has brought back beauty to the franchises. And I'm not talking about their physical appearance. I'm talking about the show. The production of that show is absolutely beautiful. The cinematography, they do take their time to make it look pretty. You can tell the Peacock is investing a lot of money because they believe on the Miami ladies. And they got lucky this season because that bombshell that was dropped in the last episode and the way that it was dropped, and I'm not even talking about the Lenny hot mic because that happened in the previous 4 episodes premiere. I'm talking about the way Lisa told the girls how Lenny's talking to her. And all of them were ready to drag Lenny. You can tell the Alexia was ready to go back to Miami and drag Lenny and his girlfriend across the freaking state. Woo! Before we get to that part, let's just quickly see the other storyline that happened in the moment. On one side, we have Julia having issues with Martina. Her daughter is back from France. She's visiting. She's telling them she wants to get a scooter. Where's your scooter? Where's your scooter? That's what I was thinking when that happened. I was picturing Nini in my head saying, when she said like, I want to get a scooter. And I'm like, where's your scooter? Where's your scooter? But they are having issues. Martina and Julia seems to be in different places in this relationship, and I'm kind of scared for them because I like them together. I think they make a great a great couple. They seem to complement each other, but in this season, it's been very off. They seem to be moving in two different speeds in different directions, and I'm kind of afraid that season 6 is going to be the season of Julia divorcing Martina or vice versa. I'm kind of afraid for that. I don't want them to go to that direction. And I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, seeing what happened to Lisa and Lenny kind of like bring them back to earth and like, let's go to therapy, do what we need to do. Because marriage is not easy. I'm married myself. I've been married for 4 years. This is my second marriage too. So my first one was a fucking hell and disaster. That was a fucking Lenny right there. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm gonna get upset. But I'm being married for 4 years, and marriage is an everyday work. We have to work really hard to maintain our happy place. We work hard to make sure that we listen to each other. We make sure that we give each other space when we need it. A lot of times I get so fucking pissed that I want to just drive away. But guess what? That's not how marriages last. It's like a plant. If you don't water your marriage, it dies. And sometimes it's gonna be a heat wave, and the plants suffer during that heat wave. But you know what? You keep watering until the heat wave goes away, and then it blooms one more time. That's how marriages work. And I noticed one thing. Lenny has been checked out for 2 seasons now. 2 seasons, because last season he was out. Last season, I noticed this guy was not in for the marriage. And I don't want Julia and Martina to go that direction. Then we also have the girls talking about the party. They went to have a little kiki together, but Lisa didn't go because she wasn't feeling so well. But I have a feeling that that was when the whole Lenny conversation happened. So she decided to stay home. And Adriana is flirting with the captain, which, by the way, captain was hot. I'm happy that she made the right move to convince him to remove his t-shirt, because I was like, girl is doing the Lord's work for the girls and the gays and the girl gays. She was doing it all for us, and I'm here for it. That was when they were playing also how to get to the keys. Nicole offer, her husband's private jet. That's another one. A man who can fly a goddamn plane is hot. I don't care how he looks. That is a talent. And if he can maneuver a plane, I can only imagine how can maneuver stuff in bed. I'm just saying. And he's also good looking. Let's not take that away from him. He's really good looking too. While they are waiting for the rest of the girls to get to their to the airport thingy, they're waiting for Lisa for like an hour, and they're getting really like, okay, let's go. Larsa is going in. She's afraid to fly in a small plane, which I cannot relate. I hate flying, so I can only imagine how it's to fly in a small jet. I don't like them. I don't care if it's private. I need to feel like my plane can hold the flight, and the turbulence. So they're waiting for Lisa. They call Larsa because Larsa is with Marisol and Kiki, which, by the way, they are playing this game about sex stuff that I never heard in my life. I know what a dirty Sanchez is. I mean, that's kind of like a common knowledge. But something about Carl, about putting like plastic bag in somebody's head, I'm like, that sounds dangerous. That sounds like somebody's gonna die instead of having a good time. I mean, I guess to each their own. And there's another stuff that I forgot, but it's all like these sex topics. And I'm thinking to myself, like, my sex life might be really vanilla. Maybe I'm not, I don't know. I need to like read books or find out what's happening, because like something Carl and something else and the Dirty Sanchez, which I know not because I'm okay with it, but because I know what it means. So they call the girls, and they're like, okay, like, you still in the freaking airport? Like, what's happening? So they're talking about Lisa not being there, and they were upset, rightfully so. They think that they're late because they glam, but when she arrives to the airplane, she's literally no makeup, seems really sad, really down. And that's when people start to wonder, something is wrong, something is not right. What's happening to Lisa? And then we find out the bomb. At the end of the episode, the last 2 minutes, once again, Miami is delivering. And the way that they are ending each episode is like a cliffhanger that you just want to like, The last episode was the Lenny hot mic. This episode, Lisa telling the girls that Lenny is not only asking for divorce, but that he's dating this girl, that he wants her to be his girlfriend, and she is the reason why she's divorcing Lisa, and she's asking Lisa to move out, and she's asking Lisa to move out with her kids, which is also his kids. I'm like, what? My mouth was on the floor the whole entire time. If you have watched that clip, I'm every single one of those girls. I'm pissed off, just like Alexia is. I'm shocked, just like Gertie is. I'm like speechless, like Marisol is. But at the same time, I'm like Kiki and Nicole, who seem to have knowledge, or like she felt like it was coming. That was all my feelings. Like each girl was one of my feelings. But my jaw was on the floor, besties. Honestly, that was one of the saddest moments that I'd seen when it comes down to a divorce on Housewives. Because most of the time, divorce happen and we don't know anything about the reaction of the other ladies on the show. And if we know about the reaction of their takes on this divorce, it's because they are on social media talking about it. Somebody posts something on their story or a comment on somebody's post. That's how we know. This divorce is developing as the filming is happening, and every single one of the ladies is standing by Lisa. They literally were ready to drag Lenny. And I just rhymed and I wasn't even trying. Wee! um, I love this friendship that they have. I love the fact that they know when to put aside the pettiness and be there for their friend, which shows that they are real friends in real life. A lot of the housewife shows are cast, you know, for the franchise. And maybe some are friendlier with some than the other ones, but this cast in particular, Miami, is given because the friendship seems more organic, the drama seems more real. I mean, how real can you get in the actual divorce happening as you watch the episodes? I mean, Peacock just got a gold mine. I'm not saying that it's good in general. I'm really sad for Lisa for what she's going through. But the timing of this divorce, the way that it was exposed, that was freaking TV gold. To me, that's one of the top five of 2020 any franchise. That hat mic, the last 2 minutes of the last episode when all the girls are ready to drag Lenny, and I cannot wait to see when Larsa and Lisa run into um, Lenny and the new girlfriend in a future episode, because I'm like, whew, how more dramatic can this get, and how more real can this get? And I'm here for it. Miami, if you're not watching it, I'm telling you, it worth paying for Peacock. That's how good it is. If you don't have Peacock right, and 1 second, I want to make sure that if you're listening or watching, I'm not being paid to advertise Peacock, which I should, because I always tell this pretty much in every single episode at this point. Miami alone worth paying for Peacock. Don't wait for it to be airing on Bravo, because you are going to be missing out one of the best franchises in the moment. By the time that the franchise is airing on Bravo, we already know what happened. So you're not gonna have that excitement. You probably know what happened because you read it on Twitter. You probably go on my Twitter and you find the whole entire thing because I'm live tweeting as I'm watching it. So I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it, but you know that my account is pretty much live tweeting. So you know what you're getting into. I'm just letting you know. So yes. And remember, as a plus, if you think about it, every single franchise is on Peacock. Every single Bravo show is on Peacock. Pretty much, if you miss one episode the night before, you can watch it the next day on streaming. So it's totally worth it. And Ultimate Girls Trip is also a Peacock show, and it's coming soon. The Ultimate Girls Trip 3, which also includes Marisol and includes Alexia. And those two are like the best people to have as traveling buddies, because if you watched those bickering like back to back when they were trying to get into the room, you know, at that in that moment, you know that they are going to bring so much fun on that ultimate girls trip, you know, in I think it's Thailand. Yes. So I'm just saying, don't miss out on Miami. Miami. Whew. You guys, we have a lot to talk about. So stick around, subscribe to my podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those platforms that you use to listen to your podcast. All the audio version are there. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously. If you want to get into the mess even more, you can find me on Twitter as Martini with Eddie. You can find me on Instagram as Martini with Eddie. And just come and hang out. I like to chitty chat with all my besties on Twitter. That's like my favorite place to chitty chat with my besties. But once again, if you want to catch up all the live, streaming, you can, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my podcast, notify, click that notification so you always know when I'm coming live, which is usually 2 to 3 times a week. I'm bringing you recaps, I'm bringing you news, I'm bringing you guests, and I have a guest coming up in, very soon. So, besties, I truly love you. I hope you're having an amazing holiday season. And like I said before, be ready for the biggest 2022 celebration here on Martini with Eddie. Love you, besties. Bye, besties.